From kobold muck pits into the heart of a hellish kingdom, Hastening Doom is a sprawling 6 level mega dungeon from the dungeon crafters over at Kobold Press. Should you and your players be eagerly anticipating facing bizarre death and astounding foes in this old school styled mega dungeon? Well, you're about to find out because I'll be reviewing Hastening Doom from Kobold Press right after this. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to be reviewing Hastening Doom from Kobold Press. This 64-page mega dungeon is available in PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $14.99. Having said that, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Hastening Doom. A few things to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Kobold Press were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this review with you. These days, it's important you know that. You might also be wondering, well, wait a second. You told us how we could pick up the PDF. You're showing us this soft cover. How do I get the soft cover? Well, got to be honest, this was part of a BackerKit. It was the Mega Dungeon month. And once Kobold Press finished fulfilling that, they had a few copies left over. So they brought them to Gen Con, and Dot from Kobold Press was kind enough to give me this review copy. Sadly, you cannot purchase it from Kobold Press. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get this on the secondary market. You just can't get it from Kobold Press. And of course, the PDF is readily available. Keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind, we're not going to take a look at each and every page of this, but I do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find inside. And then, of course, this is a 6-level mega dungeon. So if you're a player and your dungeon master or game master has picked up Hastening Doom, just haven't started running it yet. Maybe they've been talking about getting the PDF. There are some spoilers ahead. I'm going to stay away from major spoilers, but there will be some spoilers. And of course, as we flip on through this, it's very possible you see something that would ruin some of the surprises inside. So I'm just letting you know that right up front. Now, of course, if your DM/GM has been talking about picking this up, let them know about this review. That way they can approach Hastening Doom and make a far more informed buying decision. First thing we'll do is take a peek at the credits page. A lot of folks worked very hard to bring this to life. So let's give credit where credit is due. As I mentioned, this is a 6-level mega dungeon, and it was created for Mega Dungeon Month on BackerKit. So to my knowledge, none of these levels have appeared previously from Kobold Press. Now, that's not to say that this was created from scratch just for that BackerKit, because I do understand Kobold Press didn't have a whole lot of time to create this mega dungeon. But as far as I know, all of this is brand new, except maybe for some of the line artwork. Some of the line artwork may have previously appeared in, say, Warlock, the zine that Kobold Press, the really cool zine, actually, that Kobold Press used to produce. That is a possibility. So I just wanted to mention that. So we are going to have the Mega Dungeon adventure kind of broken up into 3 parts. And funny enough, the first 2 levels kind of click together. The middle 2 levels feel like there's an ecology there. And so do the final 2 levels. But if you connect all 6 together, Kind of feels like a lot of mega dungeons where every level is quite different, doesn't really tie in together all that well. Now, that's not a knock on this. I'm just saying, like most mega dungeons, it doesn't have like a natural dungeon ecology to the proceedings, although the three parts seemingly do. So the first part is going to involve some kobolds, and the majority of them are going to be antagonists that the player characters are going to have to take on. Now, this is an old school styled adventure. So this is made up of set pieces and situations. You're basically seeing this is the location, this is what's there, this is what's going on, as opposed to having a storyline that runs through or a plot line that runs through. I always love that about old school styled adventures because it gives your players a lot more agency with their characters on how they approach the various different challenges that they're going to face in an adventure. So the way this plays out for one group is going to be completely different than any other group. And I absolutely love that. Each area is going to give us a little bit of read aloud, usually no more than a couple of paragraphs. So we get the right amount of read aloud. You're not going to have your players dozing off or wishing they could bust their phones out and start flipping through and doom scrolling. No, we get nice, concise information. Also, want to point out that the way the information is presented is very, very concise and to the point. There's not a lot of purple prose throughout this. So I definitely dig that as well. So as I mentioned, first level is going to deal with kobolds. Then we move into the second level, which the first two levels of this mega dungeon are kind of the realm of this shadow drake that the player characters have to concern themselves with. There's also a witch involved on the second level. Then we're going to move into our second part where it's actually a pocket dimension, which has attached itself to the dungeon. So the next two levels are different than the first two and the last two because, once again, it's a pocket dimension. The player characters are going to be dealing with this harbinger of darkness that they have to face off with. And then the final parts of the mega dungeon, the last two levels, actually involves a hellscape dimension filled with tricksters and shapeshifters and this big bad. If I remember correctly, I think they're a devil. I don't think it's really laid out exactly what this thing is, but I think it's a devil. So you also have to deal with cultists and such. Now, as you noticed, there's line artwork throughout, really nicely done. Love the maps. The maps are awesome. They have that old school look, kind of reminiscent of the old school Essentials maps, to be honest, which is a good thing. So definitely like that quite a bit. Now, something I should also mention is that the monsters and such are all from Kobold Press. So if you do not have the Monster Vault as an example, you will find at the end of the adventure, as far as spells and monsters, items, things like that, we have alternatives from D&D. So I thought that was pretty cool because we've got a lot of stuff from the Creature Codex, Monster Vault 2, Tome Beast 1, 2, and 3, as well as Wastes of Chaos. That's just for the monsters. So this is something we see quite often from Kobold Press, not always, but we do see it quite often, and I really do appreciate that. Really, really nicely done. As far as the production quality, as you can see, cool line artwork, love the maps. But once again, this is not available any longer as a soft cover. So I guess production quality, as far as like the paper stock and that, isn't really going to matter. So let's swing on over to the other camera so I can share some final thoughts as well as my review score. I gotta say, all in all, as a mega dungeon, I think Hastening Doom is decent. I do like the different levels. It does fall prey to the problem that many mega dungeons have. And granted, this is only 6 levels. This isn't like there are 50 levels to it. But one of the problems that a lot of mega dungeons have is they feel disjointed, that each level doesn't feel connected to the others, even those that are right next to it. This kind of falls into that. Myself personally, I would break this up into 3 different dungeons because honestly, it's sort of like that already. We got the first 2 levels, that's the kobolds and the shadow drake. Then we have the pocket dimension for levels 3 and 4. And then 5 and 6 are the cultists and the devils, the shapeshifters. And you end up on this hellscape dimension, at least for a little bit, at the end, towards the end of the adventure. So, yeah, I would actually break this up into 3 different settings and sprinkle them throughout a campaign because I think it works far, far better with the 2 levels, first 2, next 2, last 2 separated. Now, as far as the levels themselves and what's going on, definitely love the old school approach. Players are going to have a lot of various different options they can utilize to get past the challenges that they face. It is not just one area after another of combat. Nothing drives me up the wall more than an adventure where every single area is either a trap that you need to roll a single die and be successful in order to avoid the trap or disable the trap, or you walk in and you're immediately attacked by whatever is in that area. That is not the case here. The players are going to have opportunities to sneak past situations or possibly engage in diplomacy. Maybe bring some of the factions that are floating around on their side, or at least make them neutral to their presence. So I definitely like that. Artwork throughout is very cool. Like I said, I'm not sure if the line art has appeared previously. Also, like the maps, the way the maps are laid out. I love the old school Essentials maps, and these look very similar to those. So definitely big thumbs up on those as well. So all in all, I do like Hastening Doom, maybe just not as a mega dungeon. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I give Hastening Doom from Kobold Press a 7 out of 10. All right, that is it for this time out. If you enjoy the Gaming Gang and feel that the outlet is a valuable resource, you got a few different ways that you can help support the outlet. First, by utilizing our affiliate links to the One Bookshelf sites, such as DriveThruRPG. To do so, simply visit thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banner ads. If you happen to make a purchase, I get a 5% commission on just about all sales. Not everyone, but the majority of them. You can also make a one-time donation by way of PayPal and even become a monthly member of our Patreon. You'll find all the info about those down in the show notes. Also, down in the show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. It's absolutely free to sign up, so be sure to hang with the gang over on Discord. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, be sure to ring that bell. And if you ring the bell, select all notifications, because that way, not only will you be informed when I share videos such as this review, you'll also find out when my live stream, The Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube, as I bring you the latest in tabletop role-playing game news and more. And of course, when you're not watching videos here on the channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are never going to see here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.